Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are safe and sound. Welcome to my English second paper class. I am Chand Sultana, working as an assistant teacher of English at Matrapit Government Girls High School, Chandpur. Today I am going to start a new grammar topic and expect that you will be able to learn all the details about the topic perfectly. At the beginning of my today's class, I would like to show you a picture and discuss about it. Look at the picture. A girl is reading a book. Her name is Zara. There are two sentences about Zara. The first one is, doesn't Zara read a book? Zara কি একটি বই পড়ে না? The second one is, Zara reads a book. অর্থাৎ যারা একটি বই পড়ে। The first one is an interrogative sentence and the second one is an assertive sentence. The pattern of the two sentences are different, but they express same idea. There is an important grammar item you have to attend in the examination. One type of this is given in the examination, in the question paper, and you have to change it into another. I think you are intelligent enough to guess today's grammar topic. It is transformation of sentences related to assertive to interrogative and their vice versa. Learning outcome. After completing the lesson, you will be able to learn about an assertive sentence and its structure. Secondly, you will learn about an interrogative sentence and its structure. Change assertive to interrogative and their vice versa without changing meaning. Use these two types of sentences in practical situations. What is transformation of sentence? Transformation of sentence means changing one type of sentence into another without changing meaning or sense. Here, doesn't Zara read a book is an interrogative sentence and Zara reads a book is an assertive sentence, but they express a same idea. Now let's learn about an assertive sentence and its structure. Assertive sentence. The sentence that gives a general statement of feelings, opinions, incidents, events, history, or anything else is called an assertive sentence. An assertive sentence ends with a full stop. Examples. The first example is, Zara reads a book, and the other one is, Zara is reading a book. Structures of the sentences. The first one is subject plus verb and extension. The second one is subject plus auxiliary plus main verb. তাহলে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি অ্যাসার্টিভ সেন্টেন্স দুভাবে গঠিত হতে পারে। একটি হতে পারে সাবজেক্টের পর সরাসরি ভার্ব আসবে, অন্যটি হতে পারে সাবজেক্টের পর অক্সিলারি তারপর মেইন ভার্ব। মেইন ভার্ব টেন্স অনুযায়ী বিভিন্ন রূপে বসবে। Now let's learn about an interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence is a sentence that asks a question. An interrogative sentence ends with a question mark. It is also known as a question sentence. There are three types of question sentence. WS question sentence, yes or no question sentence, and rhetorical question sentence. WS question sentence. What does Zara read or do? The sentence follows the structure WS plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb. That means this type of sentences start with WS word. Yes, no question sentences. Does Zara read a book? The structure is auxiliary plus subject plus verb. These types of sentences start with an auxiliary. WS question sentences want to know something or get some information. Yes, no question sentences expect the answer is either yes or no. WH কোশ্চেন দিয়ে কোনো কিছু জানতে চাওয়া হয়, আর ইয়েস নো দিয়ে জানতে চাওয়া হয় কোশ্চেনারের অর্থাৎ যিনি প্রশ্নকারী তার বক্তব্যটা ঠিক নাকি ব্যাঠিক। These two types of question sentences are known to you. I think a rhetorical question is new to you. Let's learn about a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a question for which a questioner doesn't expect a direct answer. Rather, he creates a dramatical effect and lays emphasis to a point of his statement. রিটোরিক্যাল কোশ্চেন অর্থ অলংকৃত প্রশ্ন। এটি এমন একটি প্রশ্ন যার মাধ্যমে কোনো প্রশ্নকর্তা সরাসরি কোনো উত্তর আশা করেন না, বরং তিনি এমন একটি নাটকীয় প্রভাব তৈরি করেন এবং তার প্রশ্নের কোনো একটি বিন্দুতে তিনি এমন জোর দিয়ে থাকেন যাতে তিনি যা বলেছেন তাই সঠিক এমন একটি উত্তর আশা করা হয়। I'd like to make it easier to you with the examples. Rhetorical question. Doesn't Jara read a book? এই কোশ্চেন সেন্টেন্সটি দ্বারা প্রশ্নকর্তা জানতে চেয়েছেন যারা কি একটি বই পড়ে না। এই প্রশ্নের উত্তরে উত্তরদাতা বলতে বাধ্য যারা বই পড়ে, অর্থাৎ তিনি উত্তরদাতার কাছ থেকে নতুন কোনো তথ্য জানতে চান না, তিনি যেই প্রশ্ন করেছেন সেখান থেকেই তিনি উত্তর আশা করেন। ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ সেন্টেন্সে অ্যাসার্টিভ টু ইন্টারোগেটিভ অথবা ইন্টারোগেটিভ টু অ্যাসার্টিভে যে ধরনের প্রশ্ন তৈরি করা হয় সেটা মূলত রিটোরিক্যাল কোশ্চেন। হাউ টু চেঞ্জ। To transform one sentence into another, you must remember that if the assertive sentence is in affirmative form, you have to change it into negative interrogative. অর্থাৎ অ্যাসার্টিভ সেন্টেন্সটিতে যদি নো, নট, নেভার অর্থাৎ নাবোধক শব্দ না থাকে তাহলে ইন্টারোগেটিভ সেন্টেন্সটিতে তোমাকে নাবোধক শব্দ আনতে হবে। And if the assertive sentence is in negative form, you have to make an affirmative interrogative. অর্থাৎ অ্যাসার্টিভ সেন্টেন্সটিতে কোনো নেগেটিভ ওয়ার্ড থাকলে তুমি ইন্টারোগেটিভে কোনো নেগেটিভ ওয়ার্ড রাখতে পারবে না। The conditions will be clear to you with example sentences and their structures. Let's get started. Rule 1. No auxiliary. If there is no auxiliary in the sentence, in assertive sentence, we have to follow the structures of the box. The main verb of the sentence can be said in three ways in no auxiliary sentences. Verb 1, Verb 1 with S or yes, Verb 2. তোমরা এমন কিছু সেন্টেন্স পাবে যেখানে কোনো অক্সিলারি থাকবে না, সেখানে দেখবে হয় ভার্বের প্রেজেন্ট ফর্ম রয়েছে অর্থাৎ ভার্ব 1 রয়েছে, নতুবা ভার্বের প্রেজেন্ট ফর্মের শেষে এস বা ইয়েস রয়েছে, অথবা ভার্ব 2 রয়েছে। প্রথম দুটি রূপ প্রেজেন্ট সিম্পল টেন্সে হয়ে থাকে এবং পরের রূপটি ফার্স্ট সিম্পল টেন্সে হয়ে থাকে। এই ক্ষেত্রে তোমরা বক্সে দেওয়া স্ট্রাকচার অনুসরণ করবে। Look at the example. Jara's parents love her very much. It is an assertive sentence and there is no auxiliary in the sentence. So we have to follow the instructions in the box. The verb love is in the present form in the sentence. That indicates verb 1. So we have to use the structure. Don't plus subject plus verb 1 dot dot, that means extension and note of interrogation. Following the structure, don't has said at the beginning of the sentence and then the subject Jara's parents and then the verb, the main form of the verb love and then extension. At the end of the sentence, the question mark has been set. The second example, Jara goes to school. Here, there is an es with the verb go. So, following the second structure, our answer has started with doesn't, then the subject Jara, and then the verb on go, and then extension to school. At last, the note of interrogation. The third example, she went to school yesterday. Here, the verb is in the first form that indicates the verb to. Following the third structure, the answer has been written here. Didn't she go to school yesterday? Dear students, তোমরা যখন এই নিয়মগুলো অনুসরণ করবে প্রতিবারই তোমাদেরকে খেয়াল রাখতে হবে ডোন্ট, ডাজেন্ট অর ডিডেন্টের সেন্টেন্সে অলওয়েজই মেইন ভার্বের প্রেজেন্ট ফর্ম বসে, এর সাথে কোনো অ্যাজ বাই এস কিছুই বসে না। প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, তোমরা যারা প্রথমবারের মতো এই নিয়মটি করছো তোমাদের সুবিধার্থে আবারও একটু বুঝিয়ে দিচ্ছি। তোমরা অ্যাসার্টিভ সেন্টেন্সে যখন কোনো অক্সিলারি পাবে না তখনই এই নিয়মগুলো অনুসরণ করবে। যেমন প্রথম সেন্টেন্সটিতে শুধুই লাভ ভার্বটি প্রেজেন্ট ফর্ম বসেছে, এখানে কোনো অক্সিলারি নাই এবং ভার্ব ওয়ান হওয়াতে ডোন্ট দিয়ে সেন্টেন্সটি করতে হয়েছে। দ্বিতীয় সেন্টেন্সটিতে গোজ ভার্ব, গোয়ের সাথে ভার্বের সাথে ইএস যুক্ত হয়েছে, তাই ডাজেন্ট দিয়ে উত্তরটি শুরু করেছি। আর তৃতীয় সেন্টেন্সে ভার্ব টু হয়েছে, তাই ডিডেন্ট দিয়ে উত্তরটি শুরু করেছি। আর প্রতি ক্ষেত্রেই আমাদের মেইন ভার্বের প্রেজেন্ট ফর্ম বসেছে। মোর এক্সাম্পলস অফ রুল 1। প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, পূর্ববর্তী স্লাইডে তোমরা যে উদাহরণগুলো দেখেছ সেগুলোর সবগুলোই ছিল অ্যাসার্টিভ থেকে ইন্টারোগেটিভ এবং অ্যাসার্টিভের প্রত্যেকটি সেন্টেন্সে ছিল অ্যাফার্মেটিভে। এবার আমরা একটু ব্যতিক্রম শিখে নেই। দ্য ফার্স্ট এক্সাম্পল, শি ডাজেন্ট নেগলেক্ট হার লেসন্স। হিয়ার দ্য সেন্টেন্স ইজ ইন দ্য নেগেটিভ ফর্ম. That is why we have to form a sentence of affirmative interrogative. Here, does is an auxiliary, so the interrogative sentence has started with the auxiliary does, and the not of the assertive sentence has been deducted. After does, I have written the subject she, and then the verb neglect, and then the extension her lessons. Our answer is, does she neglect her lessons? প্রিয় শিক্ষার্থীরা, অ্যাসার্টিভে যখনই তোমরা কোনো অক্সিলারি দেখতে পাবে এবং তার সাথে নট দেখতে পাবে তখন শুধুমাত্র অক্সিলারিটাকে বাক্যের প্রথম নিয়ে আসবে এবং নটটাকে বাদ দিবে, আর কোনো কাজ করতে হবে না, বাক্যের বাকি অংশ লিখে প্রশ্নবোধক চিহ্ন দিয়ে দিবে। The second example is an interrogative sentence. We have to transform it into assertive. Don't you want to go to school again? Look at the first structures of the previous slide. Verb 1, don't subject plus verb 1. Assertive verb 1 হলে don't plus subject plus verb 1 ইউজ করে আমরা ইন্টারোগেটিভ করব। যেহেতু আমাদের সেন্টেন্সটি ইন্টারোগেটিভে এবং এই নিয়মটি অনুসরণ করেছে, তাই আমরা অ্যাসার্টিভে আসার সময় অ্যাসার্টিভের স্ট্রাকচার অনুযায়ী প্রথম সাবজেক্ট বসাবো, তারপর ভার্ব 1 বসাবো। তাই আমাদের আনসারটি হলো ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু গো টু স্কুল অ্যাগেইন। রুল 2, সাবজেক্ট প্লাস অক্সিলারি প্লাস ভার্ব। That means if there is any auxiliary in the given sentence, we have to follow the structures. The first one is auxiliary with the contracted form of not plus subject plus verb and the note of interrogation. The second one is auxiliary plus not plus subject noun plus verb plus note of interrogation. The third structure is auxiliary plus pronoun subject plus not plus verb. শেষ দুটি স্ট্রাকচার একটু লক্ষ্য করো, আমরা যখন সাবজেক্ট নাউন পাবো তখন তার আগে আমি নট লিখতে পারবো, আর যদি সাবজেক্ট প্রোনাউন হয় তাহলে নট সাবজেক্টের পরে লিখব। আর এই তিনটি স্ট্রাকচারের মধ্যে আমি তোমাদেরকে প্রথমটি সাজেস্ট করছি। Besides the structures, you have to know the forms of auxiliaries. and the auxiliaries with the contracted form of not. The first auxiliary, am. In regard of am auxiliary, we have to use am I not in an interrogative sentence. In an interrogative sentence, ain't is somewhat informal, so we have to avoid. Then is will be transformed into isn't, are, aren't, was, wasn't, were, weren't, have, haven't, has, hasn't, had, hadn't, shall, shan't, will, won't, can, can't, could, couldn't, should, shouldn't, would, wouldn't, may, mayn't, might, mightn't, ought, oughtn't. Used to. As a modal auxiliary in the first indefinite tense, we have to use didn't. Need, needn't, dare, daren't. The first example, Jara and Sarah are reading books. Here, the auxiliary are has been changed into aren't and set at the beginning of the sentence. As the given sentence is in affirmative form, I have changed it into negative form for an interrogative sentence. So, our answer is, aren't Jara and Sarah reading books? They have just listened to music. Here, have is the auxiliary in the sentence. That is why I have used haven't, then subject they, then the next words of the sentence. At last, the question mark. Rule 3. Whenever the auxiliaries do, does, did, have, has, had are used as the main verb of an assertive sentence, we can follow the structures. For have, has, had, there are two types of structures. The first structure follows the British English and the second structure follows the American English. The first example, Jara's father has a nice smartphone. Following the first structure that was discussed in the previous slide, our answer is, hasn't Jara's father a nice smartphone? অর্থাৎ have, has, had বাক্যে অক্সিলারি অথবা মেইন ভার্ব যেভাবেই থাকুক না কেন আমরা পূর্ববর্তী স্লাইডের নিয়ম অনুসরণ করে সেগুলোকে ব্যবহার করে ইন্টারোগেটিভ সেন্টেন্স গঠন করতে পারবো। Here, the second answer has followed the second structure of have, has, had that follows the American style of English language. এখানে has কে মেইন ভার্ব ধরে মেইন ভার্বের শেষে as by yes এবং সাবজেক্ট থার্ড পারসন সিঙ্গুলার ধরে doesn't ব্যবহার করা হয়েছে। তারপর সাবজেক্ট এবং has এর বেস ফর্ম have ব্যবহার করে সেন্টেন্সটি গঠন করা হয়েছে। তাই আমাদের আনসারটি হলো, doesn't Jara's father have a nice smartphone? The second example sentence is, yesterday he did a difficult calculation with the help of his mobile phone. Here, did is the past form, that means verb to form. That is why didn't has been used to start with the sentence. Then comes the subject he, and then the root form of the verb did, do, and the extension. The sentence has followed the first structure. Here, did is the main verb and did is the second form, that means verb to of the verb do. For that, following the structure, I have written here didn't at the beginning of the sentence, then subject he and the root form of verb did, do. Then the other parts of the sentence and at last the note of interrogation. Do, does, did মেইন ভার্ব হলে do এর ক্ষেত্রে don't, does এর ক্ষেত্রে doesn't, did এর ক্ষেত্রে didn't এবং প্রতি ক্ষেত্রেই মেইন ভার্ব হিসেবে do ব্যবহার করা হবে। Rule 4. If there is no in an assertive sentence, we have to write any instead of no. The first example, Jara has no mobile phone. Here, the verb has is the main verb. So, we can change it in two ways. Following the British English, the question sentence has started with has and the word any has been used instead of no. The second answer has followed the American English. That is why the question has been started with does and has verb has turned into its root form have. The answer has been, does Jara have any mobile phone? The another example is, there is no water in the bottle. The answer of the sentence is there any water in the bottle? Rule 5. Never will turn into ever in an interrogative sentence. The adverb never in an assertive sentence will turn into ever in an interrogative sentence. You have never flown in the sky. The auxiliary have has said at first, then the subject they. After that, the adverb ever instead of never, and then the other parts of the space. The answer is, have you ever flown in the sky? Rule 6. In lieu of nothing in an assertive sentence, we shall use anything in the interrogative sentence. Jara's mother said nothing. Said is the main verb that indicates verb 2. For that reason, auxiliary did has been used to make question sentence. The subject, Jara's mother, and then say, which is the root form of the main verb said. After that, anything has been written instead of nothing. So we have got our answer. Did Jara's mother say anything? Rule 7. The rule is somewhat closer to the previous rule. Whenever nothing is used at the beginning in the assertive, we can make interrogative sentence following the two structures. One can be done using auxiliary plus anything, and other can be done using what? Nothing delights Jara's cousin Ole as much as virtual games. Following the first structure, our answer has turned, does anything delight Jara's cousin Ole as much as virtual games? And using what? Our answer is, what delights Jara's cousin Ole as much as virtual games? The next rule. There is also another rule on nothing. This time, nothing is not a single word. Here, nothing but is a phrase. If there is nothing but in an assertive sentence, we can make it interrogative in two ways following the instructions. One is using auxiliary plus anything but, and other is using WH word what but. Our life is nothing but full of actions. Here, the first answer, is our life anything but full of actions, has been formed using the auxiliary plus anything but structure. And the second answer has been formed using the structure what but. So, the answer has been, what is our life but full of actions? Rule 9. Whenever we shall find everybody, everyone, somebody, someone, or all as a subject of a sentence, in an assertive sentence we have to use who as an interrogative pronoun, and the verb form will be negative. Everyone is happy in Jara's family. Instead of everyone, who has been used here. Then the negative form of the verb is not, and the other parts of the sentence. Rule 10. We have to follow the rule in case of every, any, a, or all plus noun as a subject in an assertive sentence. Every mother loves her child. In place of every, I have written, is there any? Then the subject, mother. Then who, following the noun, mother. And then the negative form of the verb loves, doesn't love. And then object, her child. So our answer has been formed, is there any mother who doesn't love her child? Rule 11. In place of nobody, none, no one, in an assertive sentence, we have to use interrogative pronoun who. We can also use auxiliary plus anybody or anyone. For example, nobody dislikes Jara's family. Instead of nobody, who has been used. Nothing else has been changed in the sentence. The second answer. Does anybody dislike Zara's family? Following the second structure, the auxiliary does has been set at the first of the sentence, then anybody instead of nobody, then the other parts of the sentence. Rule 12. In case of no plus noun at the beginning of the assertive sentence, we have to use is there any plus noun plus who or which or that plus extension. For example, no student in Zara's class can make a good result like Zara. Following the structure, our answer is there any student in Zara's class who can make a good result like Zara? Let's see the next rule. In case of there plus is, was, has been plus no, we shall follow the structure. First one is formed using auxiliary and second one is formed using who or what. The first example, there is no lady more beautiful than mother. Using auxiliary, the answer is there any lady more beautiful than mother? And using WS word, our answer is who is the lady more beautiful than mother? The next example, there is no use of the law. Using auxiliary, our answer is there any use of the law? And using WS, our answer is what is the use of the law? Rule 14. It is no use plus verb with ing in an assertive sentence will be changed into is there any use of plus verb with ing. Why? Plus verb 1 can also be followed in this regard. For example, it is no use advising a dishonest man. Following the first structure, our answer is there any use of advising a dishonest man? And following the structure y plus verb 1, our answer is why advise a dishonest man? মনে রাখতে হবে এখানে y এর পর সরাসরি ইউজের পরবর্তী ভার্বের প্রেজেন্ট ফর্ম বসবে। Rule 15. In case of it does not matter in an assertive sentence, we shall use what though to make an interrogative sentence. We can also use does it matter. Sarah has said, what though if we lose the game? She also said, does it matter if we lose the game? In reply, Zara said, it doesn't matter if we lose the game. The last rule of today's class. যদি কোনো সেন্টেন্সের শুরুতে সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজ থাকে অর্থাৎ সাবঅর্ডিনেটিং কনজাংশন ইফ, আনলেস, দো, অলদো, ওয়েন, হোয়ার, হোয়াট, হাউ ইত্যাদি দিয়ে সেন্টেন্সটি শুরু হয় এবং মেইন ক্লজটি শেষে থাকে, কমপ্লেক্স করার সময় মেইন ক্লজটির ইন্টারোগেটিভ করতে হবে। কমা উঠে গিয়ে সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজটি বসবে। Unless Sarah studies hard, she cannot make a good result. Here, she cannot make a good result is the main. For that, I have made interrogative of the main clause and then the subordinate clause has been written. The comma has been deducted. In each and every time, you have to remember that if the given sentence is in affirmative form, you have to make answer in negative form. Or if the given sentence is in negative form, you have to make answer in the affirmative form. We know that practice makes us perfect. So, there are some examples for your own practice. That's all for today. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.